Have you ever been painted as the neighborhood villain just for wanting to live in peace? What if a simple no to your neighbor's power trip turned your suburban dream into a harassment nightmare? And how long would you stay silent before the clipboard warriors with their fake badges pushed you too far? Sunnyvale Grove looked like the kind of place real estate agents put on billboards to sell the American dream. Tree-lined streets, lawns so perfect they sparkled under the sprinklers, kids on bikes, and that gentle quiet that makes you forget the world outside even exists. Ryan Ellis, had picked this slice of suburbia for exactly that reason. After a nasty divorce that left me raw and tired of people telling me how to live, I wanted nothing more than to disappear into my studio, design logos, walk my dog Max, and wave at the mailman without ever being dragged into anyone's drama. No committees. No one breathing down my neck about grass height or mailbox color. Pure, boring, glorious peace. Then Linda Whitaker decided the neighborhood needed saving. Linda was the textbook HOA Karen, blonde bob shellacked into submission, pastel cardigans buttoned to the throat, pearl earrings, and a smile so sweet it could rot teeth. She talked in that syrupy voice that made every sentence sound like helpful advice while her eyes measured you for a coffin. She rallied a handful of bored retirees and control freaks faster than you could say mandatory dues. And suddenly signs popped up everywhere. Willow Creek HOA, protecting our values and property values. They threw block parties with free lemonade and clipboards disguised as guest books. Everyone signed. I got the glossy welcome packet in the mail, cookies from Linda herself, and a handwritten note that read, "Ryan dear, we'd love to have you join the family." I wrote back one polite line. "Thank you, but I'm not interested in joining." Short. Friendly. That's when the mask slipped. First the letters were cute, about how community harmony required my signature. Then they turned insistent. Homeowners. Then outright threatening. Non-participation undermines the integrity of Sunnyvale Grove. I started laughing, that hollow, bitter chuckle you get when you realize your neighbors think a clipboard makes them God. Linda didn't laugh. She turned me into the villain. Suddenly I was that guy, the bitter divorcee who didn't care about the community. Linda made sure everyone heard it at the mailbox cluster. "Ryan's holding back progress," she'd whisper loud enough for the whole block to hear. Neighbors who used to wave now crossed the street. Kids were told not to play near my yard. My mailbox got a passive-aggressive post. "Some of us actually contribute." It was almost funny how these people preached unity while treating one no like treason. But paper wasn't enough for Linda. She needed enforcement. One golden evening the pounding started. Not a knock, a full SWAT-style thump that rattled my windows. I opened the door a crack and there they stood. Two middle-aged men squeezed into cheap black tactical outfits that looked like they came from a Halloween clearance rack. Utility belts, boots, clipboards, and, get this, laminated badges swinging on lanyards that screamed, "Printed at Kinko's after 3 beers." "Sir, Sunnyvale Grove HOA Compliance Enforcement," the tall one barked. "We need to verify your identity and membership status." I blinked. Never signed anything. The shorter one puffed his chest like a budget superhero. "Mrs. Listed. Refusal to provide ID is grounds for immediate action." He leaned in, voice dropping to what he clearly thought was menacing. "We're authorized, sir." I actually laughed out loud, the kind of laugh that starts in your belly and turns into pure disbelief. "Authorized by who?" "The HOA, you're not cops. You're 2 guys in Halloween costumes demanding ID on my own porch." Linda was standing on the sidewalk 30 feet away, arms crossed, that smug little smirk plastered across her face like she was watching her favorite reality show. They didn't leave. Did measures, fines, even detainment if I didn't comply. I shut the door gently, locked it, and felt something cold settle in my chest. I wasn't scared yet. Ring camera rolling. Notes on every detail. Because I knew this was only the opening act of Linda Whitaker's little dictatorship. The harassment turned professional. Go. Some cheerful, some guilt-trippy, some straight-up parental. We're disappointed in your lack of engagement, Ryan. Text from unknown local numbers. We've been trying to reach you regarding your HOA status. Notices taped to my door at 6 a.m. in neon orange. Linda's two clowns standing on my porch for minutes at a time, whispering, pointing at my windows like they were casing the joint. One morning I caught the tall one actually trying to peek through the blinds. The fine started rolling in like clockwork. $75 for non-participation. $154 for aesthetic non-compliance. Because my SUV was apparently the wrong shade of blue for neighborhood harmony. They even invented a rule about overnight parking in your own driveway. I tossed every notice in the trash and kept my mouth shut, but inside I was counting. Watching. Then came the morning I walked outside for coffee and my driveway was empty. My car, legally parked in my own damn driveway, was gone. A bright yellow tow notice flapped on the door like a victory flag. Towed for HOA parking violation and visual disruption to community aesthetic. They had literally trespassed, assessed my property, and had my car hauled away without a warrant, without city approval, without anything except Linda Whitaker's say-so. I stood there in the morning sun, yellow slip in my shaking hand, and laughed once, short, sharp, the sound of someone finally snapping. The tow yard guy later admitted off the record. Look man, your HOA is a mess. We just follow orders. Orders from a woman who thought a laminated badge made her the law. That was the moment the laughter died and the plan began. Linda had crossed every line. Fined me and now stolen from me. And she still thought she was winning. She had no idea I had been recording every single second. I called my lawyer friend Sarah that same afternoon. She listened without interrupting while I laid out the whole insane saga. Letters, texts, fake cops, ring footage, the towing. When I finished, she exhaled hard. Ryan, this isn't just annoying. Coordination of law enforcement, trespass, harassment, extortion via fake fines. Gather everything. So I did. For every envelope, photograph, postmarks, dates, everything. I downloaded every ring clip, hours of footage showing the two clowns pacing my porch, leaning into the camera, whispering about teaching me a lesson. I pulled my deed, drove to the county recorder's office, and got the stamped proof. No mandatory HOA, only a voluntary association recently filed. My address wasn't on it. Linda's entire empire was built on a lie. Sarah drafted the cease and desist letter that read like a legal death sentence, page after page citing statutes, attaching evidence, warning of felony charges for impersonation. We mailed it, emailed it, and personally delivered a copy to Linda's front door. I watched from across the street as she opened it, her face going from smug to ghost white in real time. The next morning the fake cops were back, pounding harder, angrier. This isn't over, they yelled at my closed door. My Ring camera caught every threat. But this time I didn't just watch. 2 actual cruisers pulled up the following day. Real badges, real guns, real authority. They took my thick folder of evidence and watched the footage with raised eyebrows. Impersonating officers? Trespassing? This is felony territory, one said. They promised a formal investigation. The explosion came 3 days later. I was sipping coffee when 2 patrol cars rolled slowly down the street and parked right in front of Linda Whitaker's perfect colonial. Neighbors' curtains twitched. Entire boards spilled onto her lawn, clipboards in hand, faces already panicked. Linda stood there in her pastel armor, trying to look regal. Bob and Steve, the fake cops, puffed up one last time, flashing their pathetic laminated badges like they still meant something. The real officers didn't blink. One said loud enough for the whole street to hear. You two are under arrest for impersonation of law enforcement, harassment, criminal trespass, and attempted extortion. Handcuffs clicked. Bob started blubbering excuses. Steve went pale and silent. This is a misunderstanding. We're just protecting the community. But the detective shut her down fast. Ma'am, we'll be speaking with you next. The whole block watched in stunned silence as the fake enforcers were walked to the cruisers. Someone started slow clapping. Damn time. Phones recorded everything. By sunset, the HOA Facebook group was exploding with screenshots of the arrest, leaked budget documents showing where dues really went, tactical cosplay gear and Linda's administrative lunches, and people realizing they'd been bullied for years over grass length and mailbox flags. Within a week, nearly half the members quit. Yard signs were ripped out and tossed in trash. Linda stopped her daily community rounds. The treasurer avoided eye contact. The once mighty board dissolved its fake enforcement team and quietly disbanded. The whole ridiculous empire of laminated lies collapsed in broad daylight, exposed as the petty power trip it always was. My driveway stayed empty of tow trucks after that. The doorbell rang again without making my stomach drop. Neighbors started waving, real waves, not the awkward side eyes. Max and I could walk the block without feeling watched. The quiet returned, deeper and sweeter than before. And Linda? Last I heard, she moved to a new subdivision 2 towns over. Probably already starting another HOA. These clipboard dictators thrive on silence and fear. But when you document everything, stay patient, and bring real law to their fake kingdom, the paper crowns fall fast. The lesson? Your home is yours. Never hand over your rights to anyone wearing a laminated badge they printed themselves. Stand smart, stand documented, and watch justice flip the script on every Karen who thinks the neighborhood belongs to her.